Developing right now, we are waiting to learn whether this boy seen here on a cell phone picture in Kentucky is in fact Timmothy Pitzen, an Aurora boy who disappeared nearly 8 years ago. Thanks for being with us. I'm Erin Kennedy.
And I'm Mike Puccinelli. Back in the Chicago area, Timothy's loved ones are hoping DNA results will give them the answer they want after more than 7 years of prayer. We have team coverage. Megan Hickey is at FBI headquarters in Cincinnati, while Mugo Odigwe is in Aurora outside the police department. Let's begin, though, with Megan.
Mike and Aaron, right now we're into day 2 of this investigation. The FBI is being assisted by Aurora police who arrived here yesterday and administered a DNA test, still trying to determine if this child is who he says he is. Now, last night we spoke with the woman who found the boy wandering the streets in Newport, Kentucky, and called 911. He said he'd been running for hours crossing the bridge from Cincinnati and into nearby Newport, and that he had escaped 2 kidnappers who'd been holding him for 7 years. He told the woman that he is Timmothy Pitzen, who Aurora police began searching for after his mother was found dead in a Rockford hotel room with a suicide note saying that the boy was safe, but that he would never be found.
He had been kidnapped. He just really wanted to get home. He lived in Illinois. That's what he told me. And he just was passed around to people that he didn't know. I don't know why he would just come here and make that up, you know. Yeah, I just don't see why he would just make up his name.
She said the boy looked scared and cold and that he had bruises on his face. The boy said he was being held by 2 white men who were built like bodybuilders. He'd been staying at a Red Roof Inn and said his kidnappers drove a Ford SUV with unknown Wisconsin license plates. At last check, the boy was resting at a Cincinnati Children's Hospital where police administered that DNA test. Results will take about 24 hours. Aurora police tell us they hope to have an update this afternoon or early evening. Reporting live in Cincinnati, Megan Hickey, CBS 2 News.
All right, thanks so much, Megan. We turn things over now to Mugo Odigwe, who is live in Aurora awaiting an update from the police department.
Yeah, we're waiting out here because, as Megan said, investigators could release more information about this case later today, but they say they won't comment further until DNA is confirmed. We do know 2 detectives are in Cincinnati talking to the boy. A closer look at this surveillance video from 2011 shows the last time Timothy was spotted. He was with his mother, Amy Pitzen. Police say she signed her 6-year-old son out of his kindergarten class. Police later discovered they had visited a zoo and 2 water parks. This video shows them checking out of a hotel in Wisconsin Dells. 2 days later, his mother took her own life in a Rockford hotel. She left a note saying that her son was safe, but that no one would find him. That statement remained true until yesterday, almost 8 years later. His aunt tells us the family is hoping the boy is indeed Timothy.
We always felt very strongly that Tim was alive. Regardless of what anybody said, I knew he was alive. Where he was or who he was with was just too difficult to think about or imagine or try and figure out.
We never stopped looking for him, thinking about him, and that we love him and we'll do everything to get him back to a good life.
Aurora police are being tight-lipped about this investigation, but will update you as new information is made available. Live in Aurora, Mugo Odigwe, CBS 2 News. Erin?
All right, Mugo, thank you very much. And as we know, Mike, you were the last CBS reporter to speak with the family. What were your impressions of the father?
Well, there were definitely the impressions that he was just a father who was really grieving his son, but he never lost hope that his son was going to be found. We sat down about 6 months after Timothy disappeared in that Aurora home. James Pitzen was so convinced that his son would be returning that the family kept his room exactly as it was before he disappeared. He was also certain that Amy Pitzen, who stabbed herself to death, wouldn't have hurt their boy.
She never would have harmed Timothy in any way. She loved Timothy and she wanted the best for him.
Now, there was some blood found in Amy Pitzen's vehicle, but the family believed it was from an old nosebleed. And James Pitzen said that the belief that his son was out there alive was literally what was keeping him going, saying he was living for his son, who at that time would have been 7 years old. Now, we've covered the disappearance of Timothy Pitzen from the beginning. To look back at the history of the case, go to cbschicago.com/Pitzen.